Hi, I'm J.R. Dasher, and this is a brief introduction to mob football, the ancestor of rugby, soccer, and of course American football. The first known reference to a mob football match dates from around 1174 in London, but mob football was common throughout the UK. And what happened is the matches were so violent that little by little the good burghers of society managed to stamp them out. So that to this day only about 11 different examples survive around the UK. But what's interesting about these two examples I want to show you here is that they were actually supported actively by the aristocracy, and in the second case by royalty itself. Now, the first case takes place in the market town of Alnwick in Northumberland, way up in the north of England. And what happened here was the city fathers were quite upset with this sort of organized riot that took place once a year, destroying property, hurting people, rampaging through the middle of town. And they tried to stop it, but the Duke of Northumberland, the most powerful man and to this day one of the most richest men in the UK, donated some land for them to play it on. And to this day, his descendant is the one who actually kicks the ball into play.
Let
me stop that there. If the castle in the background looks vaguely familiar, that's because Alnwick Castle, the Duke of Northumberland's home, actually doubles as Hogwarts in the Harry Potter films. And another Harry Potter factoid is that the current Duke went to Eton, which is famous for a variation of mob football known as the Eton Wall game, which in turn is probably the inspiration for Quidditch in Harry Potter. So it all comes back to mob football. The type of mob football that they play in Alnwick nowadays is a lot like your average football or soccer match. The difference being that there's no limit to the number of players, and the goals are very, very small, and they're decorated in greenery. Oh, so close! Not really. But what's great about watching these mob football matches is the way they rejuvenate the community, and you can really see the old boys remembering the good old days. At the end of the match, they throw the ball into the river and all jump in after it, in the middle of winter. The other mob football match I want to show you takes place at the same time of year on Shrove Tuesday and then also the Wednesday, and it also often ends up in the river. In fact, the ball that they use is stuffed with cork to help it float. And in the 1800s there was actually a case of a competitor who drowned from trying a little too hard to win the match. The Royal Shrovetide football match in Ashbourne in Derbyshire in the centre of England is an old school brawl. Basically, you take 100 or so men from one side of town, they're called the uppards, and you take 100 or so men from the other side of town, they're known as the downards, and you throw a ball into the middle of them and watch them fight it out. Now, I haven't actually taken part in this event, but I have done another mob football match that's known as the Haxie Hood, and I can tell you that the pressure when you're in the middle of that is incredibly intense. It's like a human compacting machine. And what's funny about this is the absurdly genteel terminology that they use to describe this crush of humanity. In Haxie, where I did it, they call it the sway. But in Ashbourne, they call it the hug. The Shropshire football match in Ashbourne can actually claim to have a royal connection because in 1938, the Prince of Wales, the future King Edward the Abdicator, the one who married the American heiress and who would have sold out the country to the Nazis if given half the chance, came along to start the event, or turn up the ball as they call it. Now the story I heard, and I don't know if it's true, but it's a good story, is that rather than throw the ball away from his royal person, he actually threw it directly up in the air and it came directly down and bashed him in the face. And the year I was there, his great nephew, the current Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, came along to have another go.
And I'm enormously proud to be here with all of you in this particularly special county of Derbyshire, for which I have the greatest affection. And it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't raining. But I am deeply touched by the honour you've done me today by inviting me to come and turn up this ball. Long may you maintain these great Derbyshire and Ashbourne traditions. Even if you're the last to do so in this special country of ours. And now I pray you have a really successful game and eventually that somebody manages to score a goal.
After that speech, the Prince sang Auld Lang Syne along with the rest of the crowd, and God Save the Queen through gritted teeth.
God save our Queen!
So Prince Charles managed to escape without any harm to his royal person. Or did he? A week later, and this is no joke, Buckingham Palace announced that Prince Charles was suffering from a hernia. Coincidence? I don't think so.